himself strictly to the man, while Trampas, on his side, paid obvious inattention. "This hyeh delay, yu see, may unsettle our plans some. But it'll be one of two ways. We're all goin' to Rawhide, or we're all goin' to Billings. We're all one party, yu see." Trampas laughed audibly inside the door as he rejoined his men. "Let him keep up appearances," I heard him tell them. "It don't hurt us what he says to strangers." "But I'm goin' to eat hearty either way," continued the Virginian. "And I ain't goin' to be robbed. I've been kind o' promisin' myself a treat if we stopped hyeh." "Town's eat clean out," said the man. "So yu tell me. But all you folks has forgot one source of revenue that yu have right close by mighty handy. If you have got a gunny sack, I'll show you how to make some money." "Bet your life," said the man. "Mr. Lemoyne," said the Virginian, "the outfit's cooking stuff is aboard, and if you'll get the fire ready, we'll try how frogs' legs go fried." He walked off at once, the man following like a dog. Inside the caboose rose a gust of laughter. "Frogs?" muttered Scipio, and then turning a blank face to me. "Frogs?" "Colonel Cyrus Jones had them on his bill of fare," I said. "Frogs' legs a la Delmonico." "Shoo! I didn't get up that thing. They had it when I came. Never looked at it. Frogs!" He went down the steps very slowly, with a long frown. Reaching the ground, he shook his head. "That man's trail is surely hard to anticipate," he said. "But I must hurry up that fire. For his appearance has given me encouragement." Scipio concluded, and became brisk. Shorty helped him, and I brought wood. Trampas and the other people strolled off to the station, a compact band. Our little fire was built beside the caboose, so the cooking things might be easily reached and put back. You would scarcely think such operations held any interest, even for the hungry, when there seemed to be nothing to cook. A few sticks blazing tamely in the dust, a frying pan, half a tin bucket of lard, some water, and barren plates and knives and forks, and 3 silent men attending to them, that was all. But the travelers came to see. These waifs drew near us and stood, a sad, lone, shifting fringe of audience, 4 to begin with, and then 2 wandered away, and presently one of these came back, finding it worse elsewhere. "Supper, boys?" said he. "Breakfast," said Scipio, crossly. And no more of them addressed us. I heard them joylessly mention Wall Street to each other, and Saratoga. I even heard the name Bryn Mawr, which is near Philadelphia. But these fragments of home dropped in the wilderness here in Montana beside a freight caboose were of no interest to me now. "Looks like frogs down there, too," said Scipio. "See them marshy slogs full of weeds?" We took a little turn and had a sight of the Virginian quite active among the ponds. "Hush, I'm getting some thoughts," continued Scipio. "He wasn't sorry enough. Don't interrupt me." "I'm not," said I. "No, but I'd most caught a hold." And Scipio muttered to himself again, "He wasn't sorry enough." Presently he swore loud and brilliantly. "Tell you?" he cried. "What did he say to Trampas after that play they exchanged over railroad improvements and Trampas put the josh on him? Didn't he say, 'Trampas, I thought you'd be afraid to do it'? Well, sir, Trampas had better have been afraid, and that's what he meant. That's where he was bringing it to. Trampas made an awful bad play then. You wait. Glory, but he's a knowing man. Course he wasn't sorry. I guess he had the hardest kind of work to look as sorry as he did. You wait." "Wait? What for? Go on, man. What for?" "I don't know. I don't know. Whatever hand he's been holding up, this is the showdown. He's played for a showdown here before the caboose gets off the bridge. Come back to the fire, or Shorty'll be leaving it go out. Grow happy some, Shorty," he cried on arriving, and his hand cracked on Shorty's shoulder. "Supper's in sight, Shorty. Food for reflection." "None for the stomach?" asked the passenger who had spoken once before. "We're figuring on that too," said Scipio. His crossness had melted entirely away. "Why, they're cowboys!" exclaimed another passenger, and he moved nearer. From the station Trampas now came back, his herd following him less compactly. They had found famine, and no hope of supplies until the next train from the east. This was no fault of Trampas's, but they were following him less compactly. They carried one piece of cheese, the size of a fist, the weight of a brick, the hue of a corpse, and the passengers, seeing it, exclaimed, "There's Old Faithful again!" and took off their hats. "You gentlemen met that cheese before, then?" said Scipio, delighted. "It's been offered me 3 times a day for 4 days," said the passenger. "Did he want $1 or $1.50?" "$2," blurted out the enthusiast. And all of us save Trampas fell into fits of imbecile laughter. "Here comes our grub, anyway," said Scipio, looking off toward the marshes. And his hilarity sobered away in a moment. "Well, the train will be in soon," stated Trampas. "I guess we'll get a decent supper without frogs." All interest settled now upon the Virginian. He was coming with his man and his gunny sack, and the gunny sack hung from his shoulder heavily, as a full sack should. He took no notice of the gathering, but sat down and partly emptied the sack. "There," said he, very businesslike, to his assistant. "That's all we'll want. I think you'll find a ready market for the balance." "Well, my gracious!" said the enthusiast. "What fool eats a frog?" "Oh, I'm fool enough for a tadpole!" cried the passenger, and they began to take out their pocketbooks. "You can cook yours right hyeh, gentlemen," said the Virginian, with his slow Southern courtesy. "The dining cyars don't look like they were fired up." "How much will you sell a couple for?" inquired the enthusiast. The Virginian looked at him with friendly surprise. "Why, help yourself. We're all together yet a while. Help yourselves," he repeated to Trampas and his followers. These hung back a moment, then, with a slinking motion, set the cheese upon the earth, and came forward nearer the fire to receive some supper. "It won't scarcely be Delmonico style," said the Virginian to the passengers, "nor yet St. Augustine." He meant the great Augustin, the traditional chef of Philadelphia, whose history I had sketched for him at Colonel Cyrus Jones's eating palace. Scipio now officiated. His frying pan was busy, and prosperous odors arose from it. "Run for a bucket of fresh water, Shorty," the Virginian continued, beginning his meal. "Colonel, yu' cook pretty near good. If you had sold 'em as advertised, you'd have certainly made a name." Several were now eating with satisfaction, but not Scipio. It was all that he could do to cook straight. The whole man seemed to glisten. His eye was shut to a slit once more, while the innocent passengers thankfully swallowed. "Now, you see, you have made some money," began the Virginian to the native who had helped him get the frogs. "Bet your life!" exclaimed the man. "Divvy, won't you?" And he held out half his gains. "Keep 'em," returned the Southerner. "I reckon we're square. But I expect they'll not equal Delmonico's, seh?" he said to a passenger. "Don't trust the judgment of a man as hungry as I am!" exclaimed the traveller, with a laugh. And he turned to his fellow travellers. "Did you ever enjoy supper at Delmonico's more than this?" "Never!" they sighed. "Why, look here," said the traveller. "What fools the people of this town are! Here we've been all these starving days, and you come and get ahead of them." "That's right easy explained," said the Virginian. "I've been where there was big money in frogs, and they ain't been. They're all cattle hyeh. Talk cattle, think cattle, and they're bankrupt in consequence. Fallen through. Ain't that so?" he inquired of the native. "That's about the way," said the man. "It's mighty hard to do what your neighbors ain't doing," pursued the Virginian. Montana is all cattle.